appears. Now we are going to do from what Arjuna brings the news from that time onwards. I'll just cover this side up. Alright. So, so we'll do this is chapter 15. It's Canto 1, chapter 15. Sutta Goswami said Arjuna, the celebrated friend of Lord Krishna, was grief stricken. Because of the strong feeling of separation from Krishna, over and above all, Maharaj Yudhishthir's speculative inquiries. Why are they speculative inquiries? I'll just invite. So, why are they speculative inquiries? Because Yudhishthir's mind was not silent. He was thinking 100 different things. Like yesterday we were describing, he was thinking कि क्या हो गया, किधर से हो गया, there are evil portents, things are going wrong, you name it. He was going through all. Uh, Somebody's microphone is on. One who is typing. Okay, so yeah. So he said that all these evil portents are there. The universe is also showing me different signs. The stars are in the wrong place. People are they are doing robbery, they are doing daikaiti. Everything was happening going wrong. This he was saying, and on one side, Arjuna has come back and he's got some terrible news. Yes, he was unable to defeat the wave of sadness and pessimism. Couldn't do anything. So due to grief, Arjuna's mouth and lotus-like heart had dried up. Therefore his body lost all luster. Now remembering the Supreme Lord, he could hardly utter a word in reply. So he was very silent. He did not utter any single word. He is keeping quiet because Yudhishthir is asking him continuously questions. And on the other side, he is carrying a very dreadful news. With great difficulty, he checked the tears of grief that smeared his eyes. He was very distressed because Lord Krishna was out of sight and he increasingly felt affection for him. Remember Lord Krishna and his well wishes, benefactions, intimate familial relations, and his chariot driving. Arjuna, overwhelmed and breathing very heavily, began to speak. Arjuna said, see, what is the news? This is a time even for the Pandavas to do something, and that is very important. You will find that in our material world also there are times when we have to let go of some things, leave some things, let go, finish it off, do something, bring it to the end. That has to happen, isn't it? We do not allow that to happen. So now there is some advice that is coming from here. Let us see. Arjuna said, O king, Krishna, Hari, who has treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Thus my astounding power, which astonished even the demigods, is no longer with me. I have just lost him, whose separation for a moment would render all universe unfavorable and void like bodies without life. Only by his merciful strength was I able to vanquish all the lusty princes assembled at the palace of King Drupada for the selection of the bridegroom. With my bow and arrow, I could pierce the fish target and thereby gain the hand of Draupadi. So this is, if you remember the Mahabharata, there's a beautiful story where Arjuna is supposed to hit the eye of the fish. The fish is there upstairs and looking in the water below, he is supposed to hit the eye of the fish. There is another story going backwards in time wherein his guru and the guru of every other person, that is all the Kauravas and the Pandavas, had told, hit the eye of the bird.
But Dronacharya.
Huh?
Dronacharya.
Yes. Dronacharya, the teacher, had said, hit the eye of the bird. And then he asked everybody, what do you see? Everybody gave some reason or the other, some other answer. But only Arjuna could give the correct answer. He said, I can only see the eye of the bird. Beyond that, I can't see. So, in our life also, it is very important. If you look at peripherals, you will never reach the target. If you look at all the peripherals, you will never reach the target. So, to reach the target, you have to pinpoint on that target alone. Correct? So even in our material world, isn't this what we are supposed to do? Even in material world, suppose we have to reach some targets in our companies, we have to focus on that. Otherwise, you will get 1,000 other reasons in a ये देखो वो देखो किसको झाड़ दिखेगा. Somebody sees the tree, somebody sees something else, somebody sees some bird, somebody nobody sees the eye. It's the same thing in our life as well. The eye of the bird or the eye of the fish is what we got to hit. So you have to focus on that one Lord alone, not on 100 other things. You see in our अभी हम लोग हमारे देवघर बोलते हैं देवघर जहाँ पे भगवान को रखते हैं 33 करोड़ गॉड्स है अगर उतना जगह रहता तो हम लोग उतना के लाके बिठाते बोला पैसा चाहिए लक्ष्मी को लाके बिठाओ बोला एजुकेशन मांगता है सरस्वती को लाके बिठाओ बोला वैराग्य मांगता है या और कुछ मांगता है तो शिव जी को लाके बिठाओ I mean we are not faithful to one faithful to everybody like that so we don't have focus in our world what we do is we give 100 other gods their benefits and imagine you are talking to one god and the other fellow is listening you know what he's going to do अच्छा तू उसके साथ बात कर मैं नहीं सुनने वाला हूँ तेरा आधा तो
Ego.
सुनते भी नहीं है हाँ
God's ego comes into play.
by the way they are born of ego only isn't it that's what I was just telling you all yesterday na I said आप लक्ष्मी हैं imagine करो you have limitations if I go and ask Lakshmi give me knowledge she can't give you she will say I am sorry I don't know myself so there is a limitation so everybody has the ahankara also by the way and this ahankara can be seen when you go through the various stories also we are going to come through various stories in that you can actually see each god how they are so egoistic also so here Arjuna is talking about what has happened how he was able to hit the eye of that fish correct so we need to have focus in our world and that is how he was able to get Draupadi as his wife why did he get because Krishna's hand was always with him मतलब कृष्णा का हाथ है पीछे तो सब कुछ होता है again he is going to talk about it because he was near me it was possible for me to conquer with great dexterity the powerful kingdom of heaven Indradev along with his demigods associates and thus enable the fire god to devastate the Khandava forest a story one of the stories in the Mahabharata the entire forest got destroyed, and only by his grace was the demon named Maya saved from the blazing Khandava forest. And thus we could build our assembly house of wonderful architecture workmanship, where all the princes assembled during the performance of the Rajasuya Yajna and paid you tributes. There used to be one demon called Maya who was living in this particular forest. So when Agnidev destroys this entire forest. At that time, they save this particular Maya demon. So he says, if Krishna was not there, all these things, now he is giving credit in every different way. You see, one after the other, after the other. Your respectable young brother, who possessed the strength of 10,000 elephants, killed by his great grace, Jarasandha, whose feet were worshipped by many kings. These kings may have been brought for sacrifice in Jarasandha's Mahabhairav Yagya, but they were thus released. Later they paid tribute to your majesty. Jarasandha, if you remember, do you know who Jarasandha is? No?
It's Krishna's uncle, right?
Jarasandha,
Grandfather.
he was
Ah,
the one whose two daughters were given in marriage to Kamsa.
Comes up.
So indirectly he becomes one of his relatives only. And because Shishupal and Jarasandha come together, they become a formidable enemy. They join hands with each other. That is because of the two wives of Kamsa. Okay, since Kamsa gets killed, if you remember, so they go to their father back again and they tell him. And so Jarasandha becomes the enemy. So there was this Yagya over there. It was he who only loosened the hair of all the wives of the miscreants who dared open the cluster of your queen's hair, which had been nicely dressed and sanctified by the great Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. At that time she fell down at the feet of Lord Krishna with tears in her eyes. These are various multiple stories which we are going to do again, like I said to you. Slowly, slowly we will be opening up these stories one by one. The hair of Draupadi has come many times. This is another episode where the hair of Draupadi pull करके लेके जाता है, याद है? And then later on she tells Yudhishthir and Bhim and everybody, I want to बाल बनाने का है with the blood.
Smear my hair with their blood. Yeah.
Correct.
Only then I'll tie it up.
Correct. That is what the whole story is again. So if he was not there, that could not have happened. During our exile, Durvasa Muni, who eats with his 10,000 disciples. Now this is a very interesting story. Intrigued with our enemies to put us in dangerous trouble. At that time he, simply by accepting the remnants of food, saved us. And by his accepting food, thus the assembly of Munis, while bathing in the river, felt sumptuously fed, and all the three worlds were also satisfied. This is a story of the Akshay Patra. Akshay Patra is a magical vessel that was given to him, to Draupadi. And it was mentioned that till the time the vessel is covered, without looking you can remove things from inside, it will be full. But the moment you open it and serve it, the food will get over. And Durvasa Muni, after hearing from the enemy's side, he says, let me go and show these people something. So he comes with his 10,000 people, okay, 10,000 Munis. They all march towards these Pandavas in the jungles. And he goes and tells Draupadi, see, I am coming for lunch with my people. Kindly keep your food ready. What has happened meanwhile is Draupadi has finished eating. See, after her husband's eat, then she eats last. Now what to do? Then Durvasa Muni tells her, see, I am going to the river to bathe and come. Meanwhile, Krishna, she comes to know, now there is a big problem, what do I do? So many a times in life, Draupadi calls on Krishna. And Krishna comes for her help. So Krishna comes to her. Draupadi doesn't understand why. See, the thing is, first and foremost, we really don't have any clue why he comes or what is the reason. You have called him and he has come. But you are expecting magic, isn't it? Every person in the life thinks that there is magic which is going to happen. But our expectation is different. Our expectation is that 10,000 plus 1 will get fed. If you are a Draupadi, this is what you will think. Somehow Krishna will make food available. But here Krishna comes and tells her, मुझे बहुत भूख लगी है. Is there anything to eat? So Draupadi looks at him very this thing and says, I'm very sorry, we finished our lunch. She said, no. Just give me that vessel. No, something must be there in that. He says, really, brother, everything is over. What Krishna does is he goes and looks at the Akshay Patra. There is one grain of rice sticking to it. And he eats it. And he says, oh, I feel so satisfied. And the moment he says these words, all those 10,000 people who are taking bath, they get so full. यहाँ तक उनको है ना full हो जाता है. And then they don't come back, they go away from there only. This is another interesting story of the same thing, okay, the same grain of rice I will tell you, which happened just 115-20 years ago. Once upon a time, Ramakrishna Paramahansa was going with 4 of his disciples, Ratu Maharaj and various others. They were going in a boat. They were going to one village. And in the Ganga, you can go from one village to another, to another, to another, like that. Just keep on going in the boat. So what happened over there was, by the time they started, it was afternoon. And everybody was feeling hungry. At that time, Ramakrishna ji says, I am feeling hungry now. What to do? So they told the boatman, अभी next village आएगा वहां पे रुका दो. And then they searched each other's pocket. They could get only very little money in their pocket. So now what to do? So one person took that little money in his hand and went to the village. So when he went to the village, the only thing he could buy over there was mudi. Mudi means kurmura. Kurmura bolega to puffed rice. You know puffed rice, no? So the only thing he could buy for the little money was puffed rice. Now what do you do? So anyway, he said, now I can't do anything. So he brought the puffed rice to the boat. Ramakrishna ji said, Acha, give it to me. And then they started in the boat again. Ramakrishna Paramahansa opened that thing and started eating. And everybody is thinking, now Ramakrishna ji will give us, now Ramakrishna ji will give us, now Ramakrishna ji will. But Ramakrishna ji kept on eating. After that he took that वो पेपर को ऐसा करके फेंक दिया. किसी को खाने को नहीं दिया. And what happened over there, was very funny. Everybody, their hunger vanished completely. Nobody was hungry after that. So this is exactly what happens. The idea which we have, कि वो एक one grain of rice से क्या होगा? Don't bother about it. उससे क्या होगा, उससे क्या मतलब है? And even your idea of how 10,000 people will get fed, your idea means Draupadi's idea, that also is wrong. God's way of doing things is completely different. You cannot even predict how he is going to fulfill. But for that, you need to be the highest devotee of the Lord. Draupadi was a very great devotee of the Lord. Arjuna was a great devotee of the Lord. We cannot comprehend God's ways. That is a fact of life. So that is how they all were completely satisfied. It is by his influence that in a fight I was able to astonish the personality of God, Lord Shiva and his wife, the daughter of Mount Himalaya. Thus he became pleased with me and awarded me with his own weapon. And in addition, I was able to reach the heavenly planets in this present body and was allowed a half elevated seat. Again another story during the time of Mahabharata, where he is told that he has to go and get the celestial weapons from Shivji. So he goes and Shivji challenges him to a duel. Please understand, Arjuna is Nar himself, isn't it? So Shivji knows about it. But naturally, Shivji is not challenging him as Shivji. He is coming disguised. He challenges him, and out of compassion, Shivji allows him to defeat him. Thereafter, he grants him the celestial weapons, which is used later on in the war of Kurukshetra. What he does is he ties it up on top of a tree, and later on during the war, he goes and removes it down. At the same time, he also is given a position in the heaven. Okay, this is mentioned half seat in the heaven. This half seat we will also discuss. Yes, it's called Shamivit. This half seat we will also discuss later on when everybody has gone to the heavens. Okay, that story will also be there. If it is not there, I will tell you. Don't worry. When I stayed for some days as a guest in the heavenly planets, all the heavenly demigods, including Indradev, took shelter of my arms, which were marked with the Gandiva bow, to kill the demon named Nimankavacha, O king, descendant of Ajmida. At the present moment, I am bereft of that supreme personality of Godhead, by whose influence I was so powerful. Now, all these things have happened because of Krishna's backing. Please understand this. Nothing in this world can ever move without his backing. Think about it. There is a time in the Mahabharata when Krishna offers himself or his army to both the brothers, cousins. And Duryodhan says, I want your entire army. I don't want you. In our material world also, this is what people do. They look at that frail person and they think that this person is not capable of anything. Whereas Krishna, see the arms of Arjuna. You remember the arrow, the bow and the arrow which is there. You are normally carry it on your shoulder. It is impossible to carry the Gandiva, by the way. Extremely tough. And Arjuna has carried it. So his shoulders have become extra strong. You will find that Arjuna is an extremely strong person. Not the man mountain like Bhima, but a strong person. There is a difference between the man mountain and the strength. Here you have the strength of even character, the strength of even the prowesses that are there. Remember, he had the two greatest strengths with him, given to him by Dronacharya and Bhishma as well. And then to have the grace of the Lord, who is there behind him. That is why he is praising the Lord every now and then. The military strength of Kauravas was like an ocean in which there dwelled many invincible existences, and thus it was insurmountable. But because of his friendship, I seated on the chariot was able to cross over it, and only by his grace was I able to regain the cows and also collect by force many helmets of the kings that were bedecked with jewels that were the source of brilliance. This is again another part of the story which we will take up. There are many campaigns which Arjuna conducts during the reign of Yudhishthira as the king. And when he goes to different kingdoms, he conquers these kings. There is, if you remember, we have done a number of Gitas. We have done a Gita which is a very tiny Gita called Anu Gita. If you remember, there was an Anu Gita which we did. There is one Uddhav Gita that we did. Then we did an Uttar Gita. All so many Gitas we have done. So every time when Arjuna becomes despondent, he goes to meet Krishna, and Krishna then gives him a revision. But the revision is different point of view. You know why it is different point of view? Because for everything in life, the approach is not one and the same. Please understand this. Approach to every problem is not unidirectional. It has to be multidirectional, multi-pronged activity it has to be. So you have to solve the problems from a number of points of view. So don't think that only one point of view is correct. Just now Ramakrishna ji and I were discussing about the divine, and I said, if anybody comes to me and talks to me that I believe in God, I say okay. If you say I don't believe in God, again I will say okay. If they say I believe in the self, I will say okay again. I will say I believe in the God in myself, I will say okay to that also. Come on, there are multiple methods. Don't give yourself that only my God is the greatest. No. You can use whichever techniques you want, whichever methodologies you want. So in the same way, what has happened is different times the Gita that was imparted to Arjuna was different kind. Got it? So here he was able to gain so many vasal kingdoms under him and gather the cows. Cows was earlier, see today we have rupee, dollars, all these are currencies. In ancient time the currency was number of cows that you have, number of elephants that you keep. It is he only who withdrew the duration of life from everyone, and who in the battlefield withdrew the speculative power and the strength of enthusiasm from the great military flanks made by the Kauravas, headed by Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Salya, etc. Their arrangements were expert and more than adequate, but he, Lord Sri Krishna, while going forward, did all this. It is like this. Sometimes in life, we may be thoroughly prepared for the examination. Okay? We are going completely prepared. Like the Kauravas were completely prepared with huge battle array of people, people, the horses, elephants, you name it, chariots, and so many soldiers. But with one glance of Krishna, the entire thing was wiped out. When you have the Lord with you, even the greatest of the preparations of your enemy will come undone. Don't worry about it. If you have Krishna with you, that is more than enough. Got it? The last time I was telling you all one story of Samson and Delilah, if you remember. Not Samsung, that is a phone. Samson, the mighty. So Samson believed in the Lord, and he was fighting a very big army, a huge army, and a single man fighting an entire army. And how do you defeat them? He had the Lord with him. There was a dead donkey lying over there. Okay, so he took the skull of that donkey, and with the donkey's skull he destroyed the entire army. Can you imagine that? Isn't it so wonderful? I know this may sound very funny or ऐसा कैसा हो सकता है? बोले डोंकी के स्कल से कैसे मार सकते? लेकिन मार सकते हैं, फिर नहीं मार सकते. That is why I said, if you just have the faith in the Lord, don't worry how you are going to reach your destination. Don't worry if your enemy is very formidable. Don't bother about all these things. All things will come to your side because you have him with you. Great generals like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, Susharma, Salya, Jayadratha and Bahalika all directed their invincible weapons against me. But by Lord Krishna's grace, They could not touch a hair on my head. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj, the supreme devotee of Lord Narsimhadev, was unaffected by the weapons the demons used against him. Where Prahlad is also concerned, Narsimha's support was there. Narsimha's, you remember? Just by his name, he could sit on the fire as well. Just by his name, he could fall down the mountain and nothing could happen to him. So many things his father tried to kill him with. Nothing happened. In the same way, all these great warriors like Bhishma, Dronacharya, Shalya, and everybody, they also tried to kill Arjuna by their techniques. But when Krishna साथ में है तब कोई पंगा नहीं ले सकता. Big boss. It was by his mercy only that my enemies neglected to kill me when I descended from my chariot to get water for my thirsty horses. And it was due to my lack of esteem for the Lord that I dared engage him as my chariot driver, for he is worshipped and offered services by the best men to attain salvation. Many a times during the war, there were a lot of things which Arjuna did which were not supposed to be done. One of the great things that he forgot to do was, when the war is on, you can't get down to, do some extracurricular activities. You have to focus on the war. He got down so that his horses who were tired, they could be given water. The war signifies that you have to continue fighting till the sun sets. That is the rule. If your horses are tired, you can get killed also. In one of the episodes, Krishna carries the entire wheel. I'm sure you have seen in some of the photographs, he carries the wheel like this. And he saves Arjuna the arrows sent by his master. Bhishma is firing a lot of arrows. Now what he has done is, he has held the wheel like this. Okay, Teda like this. He is covering Arjuna behind. But the arrows get hit on Sri Krishna. So Krishna many a times takes all the brunt. I was reading a very beautiful book. In that, there is one person who is suffering from consumption and lot of fever. And this sage goes to this person. He's an avatar of Dattatreya. He goes to this person and tells him कि देखो तुम ठीक हो जाओगे. So the person says to him, now that you have come, I will be fine. So Dattatreya says to him, you know what? I will sleep on your bed. You go sleep down there. So the person says, no, I will not allow that. So Dattatreya asked him, why? He says, you see, if you sleep on my bed, all my disease you will take. All my consumption, everything that I am going through, you will take. I don't want you to do that. Let me suffer. Please, I don't want you, my dear Lord, to suffer. So kindly don't take that. I know you are capable of taking all my troubles on you, but I don't want you to take that. And he doesn't allow Dattatreya to sleep on that bed. The greatness of these kind of devotees, by the way, the person went on to become one of India's greatest in ancient times. This is around 100 years ago. He was also one of the gurus of Mahatma Gandhi. His name was Purohit Swami, by the way, just for your understanding. Yeah. उनका कोई आश्रम ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. He was there during that time, but he is not there now. So I hope you understand the greatness of these people can never be understood. So here what Krishna has done many a times is, he has taken the brunt of the attack. He has taken the brunt of all these people. And Arjuna doesn't know about it. Many a times Arjuna is oblivious to it. He doesn't understand. So Arjuna is now thanking him for what he has done otherwise also. And then he says, you know, I was such a miserable person. I told him to be my driver. मैंने कितना घटिया काम किया सोचो. मैंने उसको बोला तुम मेरा ड्राइवर बनो, चैरियट ड्राइवर. Whereas he should be worshipped and offered services. उसका तो आरती उतारना चाहिए और मैंने उसको बोला कि तू मेरा ड्राइवर बनो. We don't know, many a times we also do this kind of misdemeanors in our world. O king, his joking and frank talks were pleasing and beautifully decorated with smiles. His address unto me as, O son of Pratha, O friend, O son of Kuru dynasty, and all such heartiness are now remembered by me, and thus I am overwhelmed. So every now and then when he used to call me, he would make fun. He was a joking fellow. So he would be continuously joking and doing all frank talks. Please understand this. All the great sages, the avatars, they always are joking. Constantly they will keep on joking. And they will make such frank talks that you will wonder कि ये आदमी ढंग का है कि नहीं ढंग का है. In one of the very funny episodes with Ramakrishna Paramahansa was he would imitate people. If somebody was talking in a very funny way, he would also do that. And literally like a child he would behave. So many a times in life, Ramakrishna Paramahansa would literally become like a joker, you know. We cannot imagine he could be like this. So the joking attitude and the way in which they teach, the teaching is very important. They used to frankly tell. So many a time when they do the frank talk, we really wonder कि ये भगवान है कि कौन है. Likewise, Krishna used to do a lot of joking and doing a lot of frank talks to Arjuna. And Arjuna could never, at that time now he's missing all these things. Generally, both of us used to live together and sleep, sit and loiter together. Loiter, imagine करना, तपोरीगिरी करना. And that means Arjuna बोलता है चलो हम लोग है ना जरा घूम के आते हैं कमर्शियल स्ट्रीट. कृष्णा बोलेगा चल चल मैं भी आता हूँ. एंड वो दोनों साथ में जा रहे हैं और मस्ती धमाल करते जा रहे हैं. And at the time of advertising oneself for acts of chivalry, sometimes if there were any irregularity, I used to reproach him by saying, "My friend, you are very truthful." This example, I'll tell you what happens. Many a times, Krishna is also known for his very chivalrous ways. So he would get out of the way and try to do something. So Arjuna would always look, ये करने का जरूरी है क्या? One of the episodes is when Krishna goes to meet that bent lady, what's her name?
Kubja.
Goes to meet Kubja. At that time, his brother asks him, "What nonsense are you doing? You want to go and meet one prostitute or what?" So he says, "तुमको क्या करने का? I can go and meet anybody." So he had no inhibitions. He could go and meet anybody. You could talk to anybody. He would be literally a very glamorous person and very, very chivalrous. So at that time, many a times, he was a king. Remember, he was a king, isn't it? Now you can't expect the king to walk around on the road doing all sorts of chivalrous things. उसके बाकी के सब चमचे करने वाले हैं, वो करने का थोड़ी जरूरी है. At that time, Arjuna would say, ऐसा करने का जरूरी नहीं. Okay, so these were some of the episodes which we will hopefully do. Even in those hours when his value was minimized, he being the supreme soul used to tolerate all the utterings of mine, excusing me exactly as a true friend excuses his true friend or a father excuses his son. Many a times it used to happen that Arjuna would literally talk bullshit and nonsense to him. Many a times again, Krishna would himself, क्या बात कर रहे हो? When you have to show that little bit of anger, the person will, Krishna would definitely show. But later on, there would be a lot of backslapping and camaraderie between them. And then he would behave as if nothing has happened. So this was Krishna's nature. And all these beautiful things Arjuna is remembering and telling. O Emperor, now I am separated from my friend and dearmost well-wisher, Krishna, and therefore my heart appears to be void of everything. In his absence, I have been defeated by a number of infidel cowherd men while I was guarding the bodies of all the wives of Krishna. Wives of Krishna, 16,108 wives. When Krishna dies, this story is not there in this book or any other book. Let me tell you what happens. When Krishna is just about to die, this is a place which is a few kilometers away from, few hundred kilometers away from, in Saurashtra region. Prabhasa is the name. There is a small lake also. He is sitting under a tree and he is dying. The one name that he recollects at that point in time is his sister, Subhadra. And he tells her, telepathically, okay, you also come. Our job is over. Okay, Anantashesh is gone. I am also going. You are also supposed to come with me. So all three of them are supposed to go. At that point in time, he remembers Arjuna and tells Arjuna, see, now that I have gone, I want you to take all these wives, everybody who is left behind, who are left behind, very tiny babies and the wives. Please take them with you to Indraprastha. But remember, I am not there. You have to fend for them. You have to take care of these people. So when he is coming with that entire group, at that point in time, he has to meet a lot of enemies along the way. And that's why he calls them those infidels. Now, infidels today is a different word. But at that time, all these people, they tried to harm them. So he has taken care of them and brought them. I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same Arjuna to whom all the kings offered their due respect. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment's notice, have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seeds on a barren land. You see, all the horses are there. The chariot which I won the war in, that chariot is also there. The Gandiva bow is there. The arrows are there. Everything is as it is. Except that one. The one great person, Krishna, is missing. And Krishna is missing. What is the point in having the best of the arrows, bows, or... So in our life also, you can have all the grandeur, all the glory in the world. What is the use if Krishna is not there? There is no use. Believe me. You can have everything in this world. So he describes this in a different way. He says, ghee hota hai ghee. When you put ghee in burning fire, it will catch fire. But when you put it on ashes, nothing happens. Same way when you sow these seeds on a barren land, nothing is going to happen. No crops are going to come. And then he says, accumulating money with a magic wand. Understand, the money that you are going to get, if it comes to you magically, will disappear magically only. It is not going to remain. Sorry. तो कैसे उड़ के जाएगा पता नहीं चलेगा. O king, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dwarka, I will inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmanas, and as a result they all became intoxicated with wine of putrefied rice and fought amongst themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone. Do you remember this story? This is a story which happens in Prabhasa. Who are the Brahmanas? The Brahmanas are Durvasa and everybody who had come. And Samba has behaved like a pregnant lady, and the curse was given. And then that pestle was then crushed and thrown in Prabhasa. And this went into the reeds. Reeds are the long grass sticks. And then what they did? Krishna takes them for a picnic over there. And everybody becomes talli by the rice wines that are offered to them. And then they remove the reed and fight with each other, killing each other. He said that in the line, there are only 4 or 5 of them left behind. Which is a fact. One of them is Uddhava. Uddhava is left behind over there. Okay? So we will come to that once Prabhasa story opens up. Actually, this is all due to the supreme will of the Lord. Everything happens only by the supreme will of the Lord. Please remember this. I was just now, some time back I was telling Ramakrishna ji, अगर तुम चाहे जितनी कोशिश करो, see, the destiny is yours, isn't it? Your destiny. You have a destiny? Sir, the destiny is yours. But the universe is not yours. For the universe to bring all the things in place is not in your command. Let us say you have a destiny that you are supposed to get $1 million. How is it going to come to you? That only the Lord knows, isn't it? So please understand, you can do whatever you want to. The story which I told you of Bhishma also, destiny is his. At the end of the day, he has to die in a particular way. How are those porcupine needles going to be there? Who knows? So there is a big bed made of arrows. Imagine that. A bed of arrows is created so that he can sleep on it. And that is only there in Lord's command. Please understand, the whole universe will only work magic with his command. Destiny आपका है. Is as per the rules that are written down, your destiny is there. But how is it going to happen? Where, what is going to happen is not in your hands at all. How the whole thing falls in place is with the Lord alone. So that is what he says. It is always called the supreme will of the Lord. Sometimes people kill one another, and at other times they protect one another. This happens only by the will of Lord. They can kill one another, or they can protect each other, whichever way. O king, as the ocean, the bigger and stronger aquatic swallow up the smaller and the weaker ones, so also Krishna, to lighten the burden of the earth, has engaged the stronger Yadu to kill the weaker, and the bigger Yadu to kill the smaller. So how did this work? This worked where all these Yadus are fighting with each other. So the bigger ones kill the smaller ones, the stronger ones kill the smaller ones, and then it keeps on happening like this. So finally only 3-4 of them are left. Now I am attracted to the instructions imparted to me by Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. So he has been given a certain instructions by Krishna himself. Sutta Goswami said, thus being deeply absorbed in thinking of the instructions of the Lord, which were imparted in the great intimacy of friendship, and in thinking of his lotus feet, Arjuna's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination. So he started thinking on the teachings given by Sri Krishna at that point in time, and he becomes silent. Arjuna's constant remembrance of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, rapidly increasing his devotion, as a result of all the trash in his thoughts subsided. You see, every now and then, this is what I always keep on saying. All the trash in your life, in the mind, will go away if you put the name of Krishna in that. Isn't it? And here you got the clear understanding also. When you take the name of Krishna and when you think about him, every bullshit that is there in your world will dissolve. All the trash will go away. You will be devoid of all this nonsense. Because of the Lord's pastime and activities and because of his absence, it appears that Arjuna forgot the instructions left by Krishna. But factually, this is not the case, and again he became Lord of his senses. So slowly he went into a reverie thinking about the Lord, and after some time he again came back to his senses. Because of his possessing spiritual assets, the doubt of duality was completely cut off. Thus he was freed from the three modes of material nature, that is Prakriti. Three modes are, and placed in transcendence. There is no longer any chance of his becoming entangled in birth and death, and he was freed from the material form. So once when you get to the nectarian words of Krishna, you will get liberation. Please note that. Listening to his words is more than enough, believe me. Having complete devotion for the Lord, losing yourself in Krishna, there is no need of even thinking that you will have another birth. Don't bother about it. Upon hearing the Lord Krishna's returning to his abode and understanding the end of Yadu dynasty's earthly manifestations, Maharaj Yudhishthir decided to go back home, back to Godhead. So now Yudhishthir has also listened to the story of Krishna's going away. The entire story of Prabhasa was told, but we are not told over here for a very simple reason. It will come later on. Okay? Now we are trying to patch up the story. These are all flashbacks. Okay? So we will go to the main story later on. Kunti, after overhearing Arjuna telling the end of Yadu dynasty and the disappearance of Lord Krishna, engaged in the devotional service of the transcendental personality of Godhead with full attention and thus gained release from the course of material existence. So Kunti was also listening to it, so she was able to get liberated as well. The Supreme Unborn, Sri Krishna, caused the members of the Yadu dynasty to relinquish their bodies, and thus he relieved the burden of the world. This action was like picking out a thorn with a thorn, though both are the same to the controller. Like picking out a thorn with a thorn is the example used by even Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Many a times, to remove something dreadful, you have to use something dreadful only. So sometimes Krishna has to use very devious methods of removing the acids. You know that? If somebody has acid in the mouth, no, उसको न्यूट्रलाइज करने के लिए बेस डालना पड़ता है. कभी कभार बेस खा के देखो क्या होएगा. हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड is equally as dangerous as sodium hydroxide. You know that? If you take NaOH in your hand, sodium hydroxide in your hand, it will burn a finger through and through. It is so dangerous. Okay, so sometimes the Lord has to use very, very devious methods of getting rid of something. So he has to use a thorn to remove a thorn. So we cannot, make judgment on how he is going to do it. Sometimes he has to do it in a very tedious way. So the Supreme Lord relinquished the body which he manifested to diminish the burden of the earth, just like a magician. He relinquishes one body to accept another one, different one, like the fish incarnation and others. Now, in all the 4 or 5 lines that you read, that you are listening, you know what he says? The disappearance. He is not talking of Krishna dying. Did you notice it? In every line he says, Krishna has disappeared, Krishna has disappeared, Krishna has disappeared. The material worldly bodies were floated down the river. Okay. Simultaneous appearance of Krishna in multiple places in India can be seen. Okay. Now the forms are different, the availability is completely different, so you cannot make out that. You have heard of Jagannath Puri? His appearance over there. Okay. Have you heard of this place where, what is that? What Pur is it? Mayapur? Mayapur is in West Bengal. The appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happened in the state, in this place called Mayapur. Again. So you will find that these particular logs of wood which got flown down everywhere, all over the places, at every location which is close to the sea, there are very beautiful Krishna mandirs. In various forms, by the way. One of the form that was found was in very close to Karnataka, Udupi, state of Udupi, you know that. Okay, they found that small idol. So he has distributed himself evenly all over the place. When Lord Krishna left his earthly planet in his self same form, that means his original form of Krishna. Remember that form of Krishna which appeared during that particular time is the same form that appears in the second divine unmanifest. Remember, there is no form in the second divine unmanifest, but he is looking like that, he appears like that. So the form which was there of the Krishna's original form is the same during the story of this Kamsa, and exact form with Radha, because his entire group was available at that point in time, so it was the same form. So he is saying the self same form. From that very day, Kali, who had already partially appeared, became fully manifest to create inauspicious conditions for those who are endowed with a poor fund of knowledge. Last 2-3 years you have been listening to this line. So today the line is there in front of you. I told you that the appearance of Kali is there for a particular reason. Today there is absolutely poor fund of knowledge. We do not have that divine knowledge. There is no Brahmana existing in this world. Knowledge is the lowest. The worst type of knowledge is there in the world today. Yeah. So Kali has appeared. Now Kali's job is to push this world towards destruction. That is her job. She was already there when Krishna was there, by the way. Krishna's appearance is Kali's appearance actually. Alright? But appearing as Krishna is a combination of that. Like I told you, after his going away, the appearance is called Krishna Kali. Now that slow movement is there into the full form of Kali. And that is going to become fully manifest. Actually, it has become fully manifest, but understanding it will happen. King Yudhishthira was intelligent enough to understand the influence of the age of Kali, characterized by increasing avarice, falsehood, cheating and violence throughout the capital, state, home and among individuals. So he wisely prepared himself to leave home and he dressed accordingly. So now Yudhishthira has come to know that Krishna chale gaye. So Yudhishthira has learned this and now he is also getting ready so that he can also walk away. Thereafter, in the capital of Hastinapur, he enthroned his grandson, who was trained and equally qualified as an emperor and master of all lands borrowed by the sea. The entire land which he had, he made him the king, Chhatrapati. Then he posted Vajra, the son of Anirudh, grandson of Lord Krishna. I told you the small babies, छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं वो आ गए ना अर्जुना के साथ. All the wives and the kids they came, but the entire other Yadus were completely destroyed. So what he does, Anirudh had a grandson. Anirudh is there, grandson of Krishna. He has a son, Vajra. As Mathura, as king of Surasena. Afterwards, Maharaj Yudhishthir performed the Prajapatya sacrifice and placed in himself the fire of quitting household life. Prajapatya sacrifice is again another prayer, is another type of a yajna that is done. It's the going away, the passing away ceremony, like चलो हम जा रहे हैं तो अभी हम ये करेंगे. Maharaj Yudhishthir at once relinquished all his garments, belt and ornaments of the royal order and became completely disinterested and unattached to everything. Then he amalgamated all the sense organs in the mind, then the mind into life, life into breathing, his total existence into the embodiment of the five elements, and his body unto death. Then as a pure self, he became free from the material conception of life. This method is also used by the gurus for pulling you out of your body.
इसमें तो इच्छा मरण.
No,
इच्छा मरण.
Ichhamaran is a different story. This is
No, in Yudhishthira also.
what he is doing is his body becomes useless. It's like a worthless, it's like a tool, worthless tool. Because he's withdrawn his senses, he has pulled them inside. Remember, the senses are connected to the mind. So what he does first is he's pulling the senses inside the mind. So outwardly, जो कुछ भी दिखता है, it's not going to affect him. That is number one. Then he says mind into life, life into breathing, prana. Total existence into embodiment of the five elements. Then again going backward to the five elements. If you remember, that was what we did. How the separation of the elements happened. So he's gone back into five elements and his body into that. Because now the body has become literally like a shell, empty bottle. उसमें का कोको कोला खत्म हो गया, अभी उसमें पानी डाल के रखने का, तो बॉटल का वैल्यू उतना नहीं रहेगा. करेक्ट है ना? So it's like that. Then as a pure self, then you become pure self. He became free from the material conception of life. Thus annihilating the gross body of five elements into the three modes of material nature, he merged them in one nescience and then absorbed that nescience in the self, Brahma, which is inexhaustible in all circumstances. So you have to pull all these inward. Finally, you have to go towards a point where your existence itself is not known. Exist करते हैं कि नहीं करते हैं वो भी पता नहीं चलता. Body becomes only a shell, and then when you become that, you are dissolving into the state of Brahma. Body is just there, but you are completely dissolved, like it happens in case of samadhi. This is how samadhi can also be taken. After that, Yudhishthir dressed himself in torn clothes, gave up eating solid food, voluntarily became dumb, let his hair hang loose. All this combined to make him look like an urchin or a madman with no occupation. He did not depend on his brothers for anything, and just like a deaf man, he heard nothing. At such point in time, what does a person do? सब जन बोलेंगे, तुमने ये नहीं करना चाहिए. Still, there is lot of things to be done in this world. अभी तुमको ये छोड़ के नहीं जाने का है, क्या जरूरी है? But when all your senses are bound and locked up inwards, you don't listen to anything. Then you dress up in simple clothes and you behave like a madman and you walk on the streets. He then started towards the north, treading the path accepted by his forefathers and great men, to devote himself completely to the thought of Krishna, and he lived in this way wherever he went. The younger brother of Maharaj Yudhishthir observed the age of Kali, arrived throughout the world, and that the citizens of the kingdom were already affected by irreligious practices. Thereafter, they decided to follow the footsteps of their elder brother. They all performed the principles of religion, and as a result, rightly decided that the lotus feet of Lord Krishna were the supreme goal of all. Therefore, they meditated upon the feet without interruption. Thus, by pure consciousness, due to constant devotional remembrance, they attained the spiritual sky. Chidakash, spiritual sky. To reach that state of spiritual sky, which is ruled over by the Lord Narayana. I told you, going back to Narayana. That means material body, material domain has to go back to Narayana himself. Who is nobody else but Krishna himself. It's a form of his. This is attained only by those who meditate upon one supreme Lord without deviation. That is why I said in the beginning, हमारे भगवान के घर में है ना 50 टाइप के भगवान या 33 करोड़ भगवान को रख के फायदा कुछ नहीं है. एंड में जाने का एक ही जगह पे वही रखो, बहुत हो गया. This abode of Lord Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavana. First time this name is coming in a book form. So Golok Vrindavan is the second divine unmanifest. But it cannot be attained by persons who are absorbed in the material conception of life. But the Pandavas, being completely washed of all material contamination, attained this abode in the very same bodies. So they don't have to take multiple bodies after that. Okay. Now you will say, then why is it that you keep on saying that every now and then Mahabharata happens? See, when you go to Golok Vrindavan and come back, you don't need your karma back with you. Understood? You are coming with an express permission of the Lord himself. The Lord says, boss, अभी जाने का है, चलो जाके आते हैं, एक राउंड मार के आते हैं. And they all come, do their stories, and then they go back to the same place. The domain is one and the same. Vidura, while on pilgrimage, left his body at Prabhasa because he was absorbed in the thought of Krishna. He had received by the denizens of the Pitralok planet, where he returned to the original post. You know the original post of, I told you last time only. You remember or you know? Don't know. Yamdev. Okay. Draupadi also saw that her husbands, without caring for her, were leaving home. She knew very well about Lord Vasudeva Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Both she and Subhadra became absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and attained the same results as their husbands. The subject of the departure of the sons of Pandu for the ultimate goal of life, back to Godhead, is fully auspicious and is perfectly pure. Therefore, anyone who hears this narration with devotional faith certainly gains the devotional services of the Lord, the highest perfection of life. So this ends the chapter 15 of the going away of Yudhishthir and his kinsmen. So is there any questions?
So Guruji, when the Lord comes with his coterie
Yes.
from Golok Vrindavan, as you mentioned,
Huh.
do they come? You said there is a purpose for them, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So every time they come, there is a purpose and they fulfill. And when they are here in the world, no karma attaches to them, even though they are in the material world.
Yeah, but don't tell them that. Yeah. Because if you tell them that, no, they are not even going to lift their fingers. So that is the reason, one of the very big reasons why they are never told about these stories.
No, but you said Denita Siddhas, born realized. And when they are, Krishna mentions this one of the verses in Bhagavad Gita, right? Knowing me in reality, you accrue no karma.
Correct.
He's very clearly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita.
He is mentioned, But you see, if you are told that, see, you are with Krishna and all that, tomorrow you will say, गया भाड़ में, मेरे को ये सब IBM नहीं मांगता, ये नहीं मांगता, वो नहीं मांगता. And everybody will do what they feel like, isn't it? Sorry, boss. There is a rule book. There is a big story to be written.
So that's why you put that you have to go through sadhana and all that.
Yes,
Even
yes.
there is nothing to be
Yes.
attained, you still push towards wanting to go.
Yes, you have to. You have to go through the entire process. I think this is the first time in this book that we have come across these sentences. So anyway, return ticket है, तो return ticket के लिए ready रहने का बस ऐसा है. Okay.
But having said that, isn't it that you say everything is programmed, right? So that means the having to go through the path or every event that's going to happen is already predefined and it is
Yes.
programmed. Like
Yes.
today, like whatever it has to be, it will be, and there's nothing like it cannot be. It's inevitable, and you know that you do not know that inevitable.
You know, many times in the Bhagavad Gita, he has said, see, what you got to do, you better do it. All right? I am also doing, you also do.
And doesn't he say this to Arjuna that if you vain is your resolve if you think with your ego that you are not going to do it, my Prakriti will pre-force make you perform that task. And he just cares that where there he mentioned that then you will accrue karma out of your ignorance.
Yeah, in case if you don't do it, then there is always going to be an accrual of karma which should not. See, at the end of the day, the Bhagavad Gita is taught to every common man so that he understands the truth. Please understand this. And all these natak that is happening, and Natak Mandali knows their true nature. Okay? But the audience doesn't know. Audience really thinks कि सामने अमिताभ बच्चन है. Okay, सामने कृष्णा है, सामने अर्जुना है. The audience is supposed to take out the meaning of those words and understand it. As Senthil has written something, Arjuna couldn't understand the teaching when Krishna was there, but when Krishna left, how did he and all brothers reach salvation? See, whether you like it or not, they are all from one domain only. So, it is by transcendence. It happens just like that. Okay. Alright. How does that work? The knowledge by itself is supposed to be acquired. That means you have to go from one end to the other end. Alright. Now, many a times when you are with the big boss himself, what happens? By his grace you will get everything. लेकिन तुम ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते कि मैं काम छोड़ देगा. बॉस, मैं मस्का सेफ लगाता हूँ, तुम मेरे लिए करना, मैं काम छोड़ देता हूँ. ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. बॉस भी काम कर रहा है, चमचे लोग को भी काम करना पड़ता है. समझ में आया? There is no free meal, by the way.
So it's basically grace with self-effort, equal.
Yes. Everybody has to put in their efforts. See, if the big boss is also working hard, now you've also got to work hard, isn't it? तो फुकट में बैठ के खा तो नहीं सकते ना. करना पड़ता है. Yes, action is superior to inaction. Right. So got the answer. By proxy हो जाता है सब. See, you are touching that gold, no, that magic. पारस मणि को टच करेगा तो सब गोल्ड होता है. तो वैसा है वो हिसाब. Got it? So no more questions. So I shall take your leave. You have a very good evening and take care of yourself. Bye. I'll see you next week.
Bye.